Did you know that Trump's presidency brought some unexpected benefits for Americans living abroad? From fixing embassy services to making taxes easier and even boosting the value of the dollar, his policies quietly impacted expat life in surprising ways. Whether you're a business owner, a retiree, or just someone enjoying life overseas, these changes might be making your life easier without you even realizing it. Stay tuned as we dive into 8 ways his presidency helped expats like you. And don't forget to subscribe to AZ Travelaria for more insights and tips on expat life. Better support from U.S. embassies. Let's start with something every expat depends on at some point: U.S. embassies. Have you ever had to deal with renewing a passport, notarizing documents, or getting emergency help while living overseas? It's stressful, right? During Trump's presidency, there was a noticeable push to make embassies more efficient and user-friendly. Faster processing times for documents, clearer communication, and improved accessibility made a real difference for expats. For example, passport renewals, which could drag on for weeks, became quicker and more reliable. In emergencies, embassies were better equipped to respond and assist expats with issues like legal problems or natural disasters. These improvements gave many Americans living abroad a sense of security. It's like having a safety net you can rely on when life throws you a curveball. And let's be honest, when you're far from home, that kind of support is priceless. Veteran support overseas. Veterans living abroad often face challenges accessing benefits, health care, and other forms of support. Trump's administration made veterans a priority, and this extended to those living outside the U.S. For many veteran expats, these changes were long overdue. Efforts to streamline the claims process and improve remote access to VA services made a real difference. Healthcare options for veterans abroad became more accessible, and many found it easier to stay connected with the support systems they earned through their service. This was a big deal because, in the past, veterans living abroad often felt overlooked or forgotten. These improvements showed that no matter where you live, your sacrifices for the country are respected and valued. Veterans also saw more clarity around receiving pensions and disability benefits in foreign countries. For those living in places with limited access to VA facilities, these changes were a game changer. It was a step forward in ensuring that veterans who chose to make their home abroad didn't feel like they were sacrificing the benefits they had earned. Trade deals opened doors. Trump's presidency was heavily focused on renegotiating trade deals, and while it may sound like something that only affects big corporations, expats in business or trade saw the benefits too. Bilateral trade agreements opened up new opportunities for Americans abroad, whether they were entrepreneurs, freelancers, or working in multinational companies. Stronger protections, clearer guidelines, and more favorable terms meant less risk and more stability for expats navigating global markets. If you're in a field like agriculture, technology, or manufacturing, you might have noticed how these deals created more opportunities to work or expand abroad. Even expats who weren't directly involved in trade could feel the ripple effects. A more stable economic environment often translates into better job security and more chances to grow professionally. Freelancers or small business owners working in global markets also found it easier to form partnerships and collaborate with overseas clients. These trade deals might not have been on your radar, but their impact was significant for many expats. Less red tape for entrepreneurs. If you've ever tried to start or run a business abroad, you know how frustrating red tape can be. Between endless forms, approvals, and regulations, it can feel like an uphill battle. One of the hallmarks of Trump's presidency was cutting through unnecessary bureaucracy. His administration worked on simplifying processes for businesses, and expats running their own companies saw the benefits. Fewer hurdles meant quicker approvals, less paperwork, and more time to focus on growing your business. For expat entrepreneurs, these changes made it easier to invest, expand, and connect with local markets. Whether you were setting up a tech startup, running a consulting firm, or investing in international ventures, the reduced red tape helped streamline operations. It wasn't just about convenience. It opened up more opportunities to innovate and thrive as a business owner abroad. Spotlight on double taxation. Taxes, every expat's least favorite topic. Double taxation has been a long-standing issue for Americans living abroad. Paying taxes in both your host country and the U.S. feels like an unfair burden, doesn't it? During Trump's presidency, the issue of double taxation finally got the attention it deserved. While there weren't major reforms, the administration's focus on tax relief sparked conversations about how to address this problem. Imagine how much simpler life would be if you didn't have to deal with two tax systems. Expats often spend hours, if not weeks, sorting out their tax obligations, and the costs of compliance can be overwhelming. The fact that double taxation became part of the policy discussion was a step in the right direction. It gave hope to many expats that future changes could finally ease this frustrating burden. A stronger dollar. Money matters, especially when you're living abroad. One of the less obvious but incredibly impactful outcomes of Trump's presidency was the strength of the U.S. dollar. His economic policies helped boost the dollar's value on the global market, and for expats, that was a big win. When the dollar is strong, it stretches further in countries with weaker currencies. This means you get more bang for your buck when paying for rent, groceries, or travel. For retirees living on fixed incomes or those receiving Social Security payments in dollars, this made a noticeable difference. Suddenly, your budget could cover more without having to cut corners. Even for working expats, a strong dollar provided financial stability and peace of mind. If you've been able to save more or enjoy a better quality of life abroad, you've likely felt the effects of this. Revisiting FATCA. Let's talk about FATCA, the law that's caused endless headaches for expats trying to manage their finances abroad. FATCA was designed to combat tax evasion, but for everyday Americans living overseas, it created major hurdles. Trump's administration showed interest in revisiting FATCA, signaling a willingness to address the frustrations it caused. While no sweeping changes were made, the fact that this issue was even on the table gave many expats hope. Simplifying FATCA would make it easier to open bank accounts, send money home, and manage investments. Right now, many expats face rejection from banks simply because they're American, thanks to the compliance costs FATCA imposes. Revisiting these regulations could pave the way for a much smoother financial life for expats. Business tax reforms. Finally, let's talk about Trump's tax reforms and how they impacted expat business owners. Lower corporate tax rates and streamlined filing processes weren't just a win for big businesses. They also helped Americans running companies abroad. These changes meant less time dealing with complicated tax codes and more resources to reinvest in your business. If you're an entrepreneur juggling international operations, these reforms made things a lot easier. Whether it was saving money on taxes or having a clearer understanding of your obligations, the benefits were tangible. For many expats, this was a much-needed break that allowed them to focus on growth rather than compliance headaches. So there you have it. 8 ways Trump's presidency helped American expats. From stronger embassy support to a stronger dollar, and even steps toward easing tax burdens, these policies had a real impact on life abroad. Whether you agreed with his politics or not, there's no denying that some of these changes made life a little easier for expats. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe to AZ Travelaria and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. What's your take? Did any of these policies affect your life abroad? Let us know in the comments. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, share this video with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on AZ Travelaria.